Hello, my dear students of class 7. How are you all doing? This is your DJ. So you can see that I'm standing outside, and I hope you all can see there are so many things surrounding me, like a tree, like a house. There you will see some animals, right? There you can see a field. So we can see that so many living things and non-living things are actually surrounding me. So today we are going to read about the topic of environment, that is the living and the non-living things that surround us. So let us move ahead with the topic. Now, what is environment then? Environment means everything that surrounds us. So everything that surrounds us, whether living or non-living, forms our environment. So we can say that environment is actually a combination of both natural and human-made phenomena. As we can see in the environment, there are certain things which are formed naturally. For example, which are the things which are formed naturally, like animals, trees, right? Like water bodies, if you're going to see. So all these are formed naturally. And what are human-made things? Like roads, as you saw, house, all of this human-made things. So we can say that environment is actually a combination of natural and human-made phenomena. Now, environment, this word came from a French word, environner, which means neighborhood. In your NCERT book, you would read a story where Ravi, after the vacations, he was going back to school. Well, while he was going back to school, he saw that the playground, only one playground, which was next to his school, was dug out. That means there was no place to play. He was very upset, and he saw that that playground has now converted into a construction site where apartments, building with a lot of apartments will be constructed, and there will be people who will be coming there and will be living in those apartments, and there will be no place to live. So Ravi was very upset, and he asked the teacher that why that our environment is changing. Our environment, that is everything around us, is actually changing by whom? Is changing by human beings. Now what human beings are doing? They are modifying the nature, that is modifying the environment. What they're doing, like suppose, for example, they started cultivation using the land, right? Open fields. They started irrigation. So now they are collecting the waters when it rains very heavily. They collect the water and they use it for irrigation purpose. Then they invent different styles and different types of cars. And these cars are actually creating a lot of pollution. Why? Because it is actually as we know, the car runs on fuel. So when the fuel, like when the car runs, so it releases a lot of carbon dioxide and creates pollution, right? So that means also we can say that they are creating industries. So man, this is where the man is actually modifying our environment. Man is utilizing our environment. Now environment, as I said, is a combination of natural and human made. Environment is also a combination of living and non-living things. That is biotic and abiotic components. So natural, that means we can say our nature is actually formed of biotic components and abiotic components. Like, as we know, the plants, animals, and all the living beings, human beings also, all are included in the biotic elements. Now, what are abiotic? Abiotic means all the non-living things. You can see in the nature, we can actually see both plants, animals, that are biotic components, and abiotic, that are roads. Then we can see bridges, all are rocks, water, all can be said as abiotic components. So the natural environment is actually formed of two components, that is biotic components and abiotic components. Now let us move ahead with the components of environment. The components of environment are natural, human-made, and human. Now human is very important component of environment. Why? Because human beings, they are actually modifying the nature, that is the natural components, and then they are converting them into the human made. That means the things which are created by the human being. Now let us understand natural components. Natural components are four: land, air, water, and biosphere. Now land means lithosphere. That is the land where we live. Air, atmosphere, that is a mixture of gases. Water, hydrosphere. It contains all the water bodies. Biosphere, it is living things. Comprises of the living things. This is our natural component. Now let us start with the human-made components. What are human-made components? That means the human beings, when they are actually utilizing the natural things and converting them into some substance which can be used by us, that can be called as human made. Like bridge, industries, monuments, the house that we live in, buildings, roads, park, all can be called as human made components. Now let us move ahead with human. Now in human you will see individual. Individual means all of us, individual, alone. Then we have family, right? Then comes our religion. All human beings belong from different religions. They have different economic situation. Community, all of the people forms a community. That means all human beings together forms a community. Political situation, human beings have to face certain political situations. Educational, that means the literacy, that how much they are literate, what are the educational qualifications they have. This comes into human component. So what are the three components? Natural, human made, and human. These are the three components of environment. Now let us move ahead with the natural components of environment. Natural environment comprises of land, that is lithosphere, water, hydrosphere, air, atmosphere, and life, that is biosphere. Let us start with lithosphere. Now, as you can see, that is this upper portion, that is the solid layer, the rigid layer. This is the crust. This solid portion of our earth that we call crust, or the hard top layer of the earth, is known as lithosphere. This is the layer actually where we live. Now, the word lithosphere came from a Greek word, this lithos, which means stone, and sphere, as you know, it means ball, or we can also say the total range. Now, lithosphere, so as I said, is a solid portion of the earth crust where we live, and that is termed as lithosphere. It came from a Greek word which means stone. Lithos means stone. Now, lithosphere is an irregular surface where we can see different landforms like mountains, plains, plateaus. Lithosphere is actually made up of rocks and minerals and is covered up with a thin layer of soil. Why is lithosphere important? Lithosphere is important to us. Why? Number one, it provides us with the land for agriculture. It provides us with forest. It provides us with grassland, which can be used for grazing of animals. It is very important because without the land, where we will do construction. So for construction activities, it is important. Construction of industries, houses, buildings, roads. It is a great source of mineral wealth. So why lithosphere is important? It provides us land for agriculture, forests, grasslands, which is used for grazing, construction activities, and source of mineral wealth. Now let us move ahead with water, that is hydrosphere, the second layer. Hydrosphere. Hydrosphere means hydro, means water. This is the domain that is in total range, which includes all the water bodies. Ocean, sea, rivers, ponds, lakes, everything is included in hydrosphere. So this is a this is a domain which includes all the water bodies that exist in our earth, that is ocean, sea, river, pond, lake, everything. That is called hydrosphere. Now let us move ahead with atmosphere. What is atmosphere? Atmosphere. Atmos. This means vapor. Atmosphere means this is actually a thin blanket of air. What is atmosphere? It is a thin blanket of air which is composition of different gases like hydrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, methane, argon, helium, etc., along with the dust particles. Now, in our earth, there is a gravitational force which actually holds up this atmosphere. Atmosphere is very important because as we know that we live in this lithosphere, and atmosphere is just a blanket. Now, what does the atmosphere do? The atmosphere actually help us or protect us from the scorching heat of the sun. This is my sun. So if there would not have any atmosphere, then our earth would have been a place where we people couldn't live, because it would be a place like in the daytime it will be very hot and in the night it will be very cold. So it protects us from the scorching heat of the sun. It protects us from the UV rays of the sun. Do you know this UV rays can cause skin cancer? So it protects us from the UV rays of the sun. It protects us from the cold weather conditions. So otherwise we would freeze, right? So that is why atmosphere is very important. And also it provides us with important gases like oxygen, which is very important for us to live, and carbon dioxide, which is important for the plants to live. Now let us move ahead with biosphere. Now what is biosphere? Biosphere is this narrow zone. You can see here a narrow zone. This narrow zone is biosphere. So biosphere is actually a narrow zone of contact where, or narrow zone of interaction, we can say, narrow zone of contact or narrow zone of interaction between the land, that is lithosphere, air, that is atmosphere, and water, that is hydrosphere. So land, lithosphere, air, atmosphere, water, hydrosphere. So biosphere is a zone where literally we will get land, air and water. So, and this is a zone where we can say that all life forms actually exist. So here we can get the living things. It's all the life forms literally exist where? In the biosphere. So it is the narrow zone of contact between land, air and water. This is biosphere. So bios means what? Bios. This means living things or life, you can also say. So in totality, it actually contains all the living things and also the non-living things, because it's a place where air, land and water can interact with each other. So now in this video, what we learned about what is ecosystem. I hope everybody can answer what is ecosystem. How man modified the ecosystem by creating like cars, setting up industries, then irrigation facilities, right? All this we can say. And then we learned about the natural components of environment. That is, in environment, what are the natural components? The biotic and abiotic components. And we learned about the components of environment, that is natural environment, then human-made environment and human environment, right? Then we learned about the natural environment, where we learned about lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere and biosphere. So in the next video we will go ahead with the next topics of this chapter. Till that, whatever I made you understood, whatever explained you, I hope so you people are getting it. Try to read your books, try to read the NCERT, and if you have any problem, don't forget to comment and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.